Let's be honest. If attraction were obvious, you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be replaying conversations in your head at night, wondering if that pause meant something, if that look lingered a second too long, if you imagined the shift in her voice when she said your name. Men are taught to look for words, for clear signals, for yes or no. But attraction, real attraction, rarely announces itself. It leaks. It slips through the cracks of behavior, and once you know how to see it, you can't unsee it. I'm going to speak to you like someone who respects you enough to tell the truth. Women are taught very early not to reveal desire directly. Not because they don't feel it, but because showing it openly has consequences, judgment, loss of leverage, emotional risk. So instead of saying it, they reveal it in ways that feel safe to them and almost invisible to you. That's where most men miss it. They listen too hard to the words and ignore the body, the timing, the energy. The first way a woman reveals attraction without saying a word is through proximity that pretends to be accidental. She finds reasons to be near you that don't require explanation. She sits closer than necessary. She chooses the seat beside you when others are available. She drifts into your space during conversations and doesn't rush to retreat. This isn't random. Human beings protect personal space unless they want someone inside it. When she repeatedly enters yours and stays there comfortably, she's testing how it feels to be close to you emotionally by doing it physically first. Watch what happens to her attention when you speak. Not the polite nodding everyone gives, but the way her focus narrows. Her phone stays down, her body angles toward you, her expressions sync with your words. Attraction sharpens attention. When a woman is drawn to you, your voice becomes more important than the room. Even if she doesn't agree with you, she listens differently. There's curiosity there. She wants to understand you, not just respond. Another quiet signal lives in timing. She responds to you faster than she responds to others, or she delays on purpose when she feels too eager and then overcorrects. Both are signs of emotional investment. Indifference is effortless. Attraction requires management. When you notice inconsistency paired with continued engagement, it's often not confusion, it's restraint. Pay attention to how she mirrors you. Your posture shifts, and moments later hers does too. You lower your voice, and she softens hers. You slow down your movements, and she matches your rhythm. Mirroring is the body's way of saying, I feel aligned with you. It's not conscious most of the time. It happens when someone feels safe and drawn in, and then there's the look she gives you when she thinks you're not watching. Attraction leaks out most honestly when she forgets to guard it. A quick glance followed by a softening of the face. A half smile she doesn't fully commit to. Eye contact that holds just long enough to feel heavy, then breaks. Those moments are unfiltered. They're where the truth lives. The biggest mistake men make is assuming attraction looks confident and loud. Most of the time, it looks restrained, controlled, and slightly tense, especially when a woman actually cares. One of the clearest ways attraction reveals itself without words is through nervous energy that doesn't match the situation. She fidgets when you're calm. She laughs a little too quickly. She adjusts her hair, her sleeves, her posture, not because she's insecure, but because your presence makes her self-aware. Attraction activates the body before the mind catches up. You'll notice it in micro-movements. Her breathing changes when you're close. Her voice shifts slightly higher or softer when speaking to you compared to others. She becomes more expressive with her hands, then suddenly still, as if she's trying to control herself. This isn't random. When a woman feels drawn to a man, her nervous system reacts first. Desire creates a subtle loss of control, and the body tries to compensate. Another signal most men misunderstand is teasing. Not playful friendliness, but targeted teasing. She singles you out, challenges you, lightly disagrees with you even when she doesn't need to. This isn't hostility, it's engagement. Indifference doesn't bother to poke you. Attraction wants a reaction. When she tests you with words but stays emotionally present, she's gauging your confidence. Can you hold your ground without becoming defensive? Can you stay grounded without seeking approval? To her, your response matters more than your answer. Watch how she treats your time. A woman who isn't attracted keeps things efficient. Conversations end cleanly. Interactions feel complete. But when she's drawn to you, endings stretch. She lingers. She finds one more thing to say. She asks questions that don't need immediate answers. Even silence lasts longer. Attraction resists closure because closure feels like separation. There's also the way she remembers details about you that don't benefit her, things you mentioned casually, stories you didn't emphasize, preferences you didn't repeat. Memory follows emotion. When a woman remembers small things about you, it's because your presence mattered enough to imprint. That kind of attention isn't accidental, and it's not something she does for everyone. Another quiet reveal is protection. She defends you subtly when you're not there. She reframes your flaws more kindly than others do. She explains you instead of criticizing you. Attraction creates a sense of alliance. Even before romance is acknowledged, loyalty begins forming in small, almost invisible ways. And then there's what she doesn't do. She doesn't overshare about other men she's attracted to. She avoids placing you clearly in the just a friend box verbally, even if the situation would allow it. She leaves things undefined. Ambiguity is often a sign she wants the door open without being the one to open it. Here's the part most men need to hear but rarely do. Attraction doesn't always feel warm. Sometimes it feels heavy. Sometimes it feels confusing. A woman can be drawn to you and still act distant, cautious, or inconsistent. That doesn't mean you imagine it. It means she's managing risk, emotional, social, or personal. The truth is, women reveal attraction constantly, just not in the way men are taught to look for it. The question isn't whether she's sending signals. The question is whether you're calm enough, grounded enough, and self-respecting enough to notice them without chasing them. One of the most revealing signs of attraction is not what she does when things are going well, but how she reacts when there's emotional tension. When a woman feels nothing for you, discomfort creates distance. When she's attracted, discomfort creates engagement. She leans in instead of disappearing. She seeks resolution, not escape. Even conflict becomes a form of connection. Watch how she reacts when you pull back slightly, not as a tactic, but as a natural pause. If her energy increases, if she checks in, if she finds subtle ways to re-establish contact, that's not coincidence. Attraction hates uncertainty. Silence from someone she doesn't care about feels like relief. Silence from someone she's drawn to feels loud. Another silent reveal lives in vulnerability that seems misplaced. She shares personal thoughts with you that don't advance the conversation, don't make her look impressive, and don't serve a practical purpose. She talks about fears, doubts, moments of regret. This isn't oversharing for attention, it's emotional testing. She's asking, without words, is it safe to be seen by you? Attraction seeks safety before it seeks romance. Notice how she reacts to your boundaries. When you say no, when you disagree calmly, when you don't bend to accommodate her. A woman who isn't attracted loses interest or becomes dismissive. A woman who is attracted pays closer attention. She may push slightly, not to control you, but to understand you. Strength, when expressed quietly, is magnetic. There's also a shift in how she measures herself around you. She becomes more reflective. She asks your opinion not because she needs validation, but because your perspective matters to her. Attraction elevates the value of your judgment. When a woman starts caring how she appears in your eyes, even subtly, something deeper is forming. One of the most overlooked signals is emotional synchronization. Her moods begin to track yours. When you're upbeat, she relaxes. When you're serious, she slows down. This isn't dependence, it's attunement. Humans attune to those they're emotionally invested in. Indifference doesn't synchronize. Attraction does. You'll also notice a change in how she frames the future in conversation. Not big plans, not commitments, but language that assumes continuity. Next time, We should, one day. These phrases slip out unconsciously. They reveal that in her mind you exist beyond the present moment. Attraction extends time. Then there's jealousy, but not the dramatic kind. It's quiet. It shows up as curiosity masked as casual questions, a slight shift in tone when other women are mentioned, a sudden withdrawal followed by re-engagement. Jealousy doesn't always mean possessiveness. Sometimes it simply means recognition of value. Here's the truth most men never hear. Attraction doesn't guarantee action. It guarantees tension. What you do with that tension determines whether it deepens or dissolves. Chasing collapses it. Ignoring it suffocates it. Holding it calmly allows it to grow. Attraction doesn't always move toward closeness. Sometimes it circles it. One of the most misunderstood signs of attraction is controlled distance. A woman who feels nothing doesn't think about how close or far she is. A woman who feels something is constantly calibrating. She pulls back right after moments of connection. She becomes quieter after being expressive. She creates space not to escape you, but to regain emotional balance. Desire, when unspoken, can feel overwhelming, and distance becomes a form of self-regulation. You'll notice this pattern especially after emotional peaks. A deep conversation, a shared laugh that lasts a little too long, eye contact that feels charged. After those moments, she may go still. Shorter replies, less initiation. This isn't loss of interest, it's containment. She's protecting herself from moving faster than she's ready to admit. Another powerful reveal is how she reacts to your presence in group settings. When she's attracted, her awareness of you doesn't disappear just because others are around. She checks in visually. She orients her body toward you even while talking to someone else. Her laughter changes when you're the one who made the joke. Even when she's not engaging you directly, you can feel a subtle thread of attention connecting you. Attraction doesn't turn off for convenience. Notice how she seeks your approval without asking for it. She watches your reaction when she speaks. She glances at you after sharing an opinion, not because she's insecure, but because your response matters more than the room's. Approval seeking is often framed negatively, but at its core, it's about value. When a woman values a man, his perception holds weight. Another silent signal is emotional generosity. She gives you patience. She doesn't give others. She listens longer. She explains instead of dismissing. She gives you the benefit of the doubt. Attraction softens judgment. It creates a willingness to understand rather than win. This kind of generosity isn't extended broadly, it's selective. Watch what happens when you succeed or show confidence without arrogance. A woman who isn't attracted feels neutral or competitive. A woman who is attracted lights up. Her energy rises with yours. She seems proud in a way that doesn't make sense unless she feels connected to your outcome. Attraction aligns identities before it aligns lives. There's also the way she makes herself emotionally available without making it obvious. She creates openings, moments where conversation could deepen if you chose to step into them. She asks questions that invite vulnerability. She slows down interactions that could have stayed superficial. These are invitations, not demands, and many men miss them because they're waiting for explicit permission. One of the clearest tells is discomfort when you talk about leaving, changing, or moving on. Not dramatic resistance, but a subtle shift. Her tone changes. She becomes more present. She asks follow-up questions she didn't before. Attraction reacts to the possibility of loss long before loss happens. Here's the deeper truth. Women don't reveal attraction to be noticed. They reveal it because it leaks out despite their control. The more composed she seems, the more meaningful those leaks are. And the man who notices without exploiting them becomes the one she feels safest around. Attraction doesn't live only in what a woman gives you, it lives in what she allows you to see. One of the quietest but most powerful signs of attraction is lowered defenses. Not sudden openness, not emotional flooding, but a gradual relaxation around you. Her shoulders drop. Her humor becomes more natural. She stops performing and starts responding. When a woman feels drawn to you, being around you feels less like effort and more like relief. Notice how she reacts to silence when you're together. With people she doesn't care about, silence feels awkward and is quickly filled. With someone she's attracted to, silence feels safe. She doesn't rush to break it. She lets moments breathe. Comfort in silence is emotional intimacy without language. Another reveal is the way she trusts your emotional leadership. She lets you set the tone of interactions. If you're calm, she settles. If you're playful, she follows. This isn't submission, it's responsiveness. Attraction creates a willingness to be influenced, to move with rather than against. When a woman adjusts her emotional state to match yours, she's signaling trust. Pay attention to how she responds to your authenticity. When you speak honestly, without trying to impress or persuade, does she lean in emotionally? Does she open up in return? Attraction recognizes truth. It softens around it. A woman who feels nothing keeps things surface level, no matter how deep you go. A woman who feels something meets you where you are. Another subtle signal is prioritization disguised as coincidence. She's suddenly available when you suggest something. Her schedule flexes in ways it doesn't for others. She makes room without announcing it. Attraction reorganizes priorities quietly, so it doesn't look like effort. You'll also notice a shift in how she handles your flaws. She doesn't idealize you unrealistically, but she contextualizes you kindly. She challenges you without contempt. She wants you better, not smaller. Indifference criticizes or ignores. Attraction invests. One of the strongest nonverbal reveals is how she reacts when you're emotionally unavailable, not distant, but self-contained. When you're not chasing, not seeking reassurance, not filling space with noise. A woman who's attracted leans toward that grounded presence. She becomes more expressive, not less. Your calm creates space for her feelings to surface. There's also the way she includes you in her inner world. Shared references, private jokes, moments that only make sense between the two of you. Attraction builds a small universe before it ever becomes public. When she starts building that with you, something real is forming. Here's what matters most. These signs don't mean you should act immediately. They mean you should remain steady. Attraction grows in the presence of clarity and self-respect. When you don't rush it, you allow it to reveal itself fully. The final way women reveal attraction without saying a word is through choice. Not dramatic gestures, not confessions, but consistent selection. In a world full of options, she chooses you repeatedly in small ways. She chooses to engage instead of disengage. She chooses to stay present instead of distracted. She chooses to return again and again, even when it would be easier not to feel anything at all. Attraction shows itself in effort that doesn't ask for credit. She checks in without a reason. She remembers moments that mattered to you. She shows up emotionally even when she could stay neutral. These choices don't feel loud, but they're deliberate. Desire doesn't always rush forward. Sometimes it stands quietly and refuses to leave. Notice how she reacts to your growth. When you improve yourself, not to impress, but because you value yourself more, does she lean closer? A woman who's attracted doesn't fear your evolution. She responds to it. Your confidence doesn't threaten her connection. It deepens it. Attraction wants momentum. Another silent reveal is the way she protects the connection. She avoids unnecessary misunderstandings. She clarifies instead of assuming. She gives you room to be human without turning every flaw into a verdict. This isn't tolerance, it's care. Attraction invests in continuity. You'll also see it in how she handles separation. When time or distance appears, she doesn't dramatize it, but she marks it. A message at the right moment, a memory referenced later, a reminder that the connection still exists even when you're apart. Attraction maintains threads across space and time. There's a quiet reverence that comes with real attraction. She respects your boundaries. She doesn't rush you. She doesn't push for validation. She allows you to be yourself fully, and in doing so reveals her own feelings without needing to declare them. This is where attraction becomes trust. Here's the truth that changes everything. Women don't reveal attraction so you can chase them. They reveal it so you can meet them where they are, with presence, with patience, with self-respect. When you respond calmly instead of desperately, you become the man they feel safe choosing. Now, I want to leave you with something personal. Think about the woman who's been in your life quietly, consistently, without clear labels. Ask yourself this equation and answer it in the comments. Her consistency multiplied by your awareness equals what outcome? Missed opportunity or deeper connection? If this spoke to you, like the video, subscribe for more insights you won't hear anywhere else, and share this with a friend who's still waiting for words while the truth is already right in front of him.